Well, Danny, we are in the shadow of cave number 4, the most significant cave in relation to the Dead Sea Scrolls, and we are standing in the amazing remains of an ancient community that was based here right around the Dead Sea Scrolls caves. This is Qumran. Tell us what went down here.
Well, Qumran, first of all, is the Arabic name.
Yeah.
To this day, we don't know the ancient name of it. And the excavations here followed the discovery of cave number 4. It became clear that the scrolls are linked to the ruins over here. In the 1950s, a French team led by Roland Devaux uncovers the whole site around us and finds here quite a lot of unusual finds. First of all, a large numbers of ritual baths, a mikveh. Now, a mikveh, a ritual bath, makes a lot of sense in Jerusalem before going up to the temple. But here, in the middle of nowhere, okay, that's an unusual feature. Then a big hole found over there is found empty, but next to it, a small room filled with hundreds of bowls seems to indicate there was some sort of a community dining room. And in the room over here, they find evidence of benches, maybe the place where the Dead Sea Scrolls were written. And the whole thing seems to be a center of a community that followed a certain leader, was very sensitive to purity, so it kept purifying itself again and again and living as a community also by dining together.
Danny, the obsession with purity that you describe, I guess it's very fitting. Look, this was a very, very deeply religious community out here, so it makes a lot of sense that they would have the mikvahs out here and they'd be ritually purifying themselves constantly. This was a messianic movement here.
Yes. On one hand, eating in a dining room may remind us a bit, as Israelis, of a kibbutz, you know, community lifestyle, but they were very, very religious. It was a religious kibbutz. And purity then was a big issue, okay? Women after the period, priests before every meal. And here, although you're in the desert and it was apparently only a male community, they still followed a very strict law over remaining pure at all times.
It almost has a monastic type feel.
Yes, this was the first recorded monastery in the world, and it's a Jewish monastery. It's before the Christians would recreate that lifestyle.
Well, Danny, that's pretty amazing. We are standing in the remains of the first monastery in world history, here in Israel.
You could phrase it like this, definitely.
Wow. Okay, this community was here, they were isolated for many reasons, as we discussed. What if they had to escape? What if they had to leave this place, pack up and get out of here?
For one thing, the site is not very well defended.
Yeah.
You don't really have a wall. What you do have is where we're standing, a watchtower. So you can get warnings if there's an enemy coming from anywhere. And indeed, we think that the site ended when they saw smoke coming from the area of Jericho.
Not that far from here.
No. That smoke was the Romans advancing from the north, destroying site by site. They were on their way to Jerusalem. The 10th Legion we know passed here. And when Jericho is knocked down, the guys here know there might be next, but they still have a few hours, and that may have been the few critical hours that enabled them to take all the library from here and hide it in Cave 4, and when they ran out of space, in all the other caves around us.
Danny, this is amazing. The Dead Sea Scrolls were stashed or hidden in these caves, probably under great duress, under great stress with the mighty Roman army, Roman legion advancing.
Yes, and no one survived, okay? This group of people either fled or fought till the bitter end. No one ever came back to retrieve those scrolls, but they were kept here for 2,000 years till, as we said, a Bedouin finds the first of them in cave number 1.
What is the Christian link? Why should Christians care about this site? There's a very significant link, right?
A magical one, in my opinion, and it's John the Baptist. A popular theory argues that maybe John the Baptist was a member of this community, at least for a while. We know from the New Testament he went to the desert. Okay, this is the desert.
Oh, yeah.
He anticipated the Messiah. So did these guys, okay? So many values that he are expressed also in the scrolls, but there's one big difference. These guys kept using water on daily basis for ritual cleansing, for purity. John the Baptist says, no, the use of water is for preparation, cleansing of the body, repenting and anticipating the Messiah. And on this, perhaps they had a big argument, so eventually he left. But where does he go to? Where does he eventually starts baptizing people? The new concept of baptism, where is it practiced? At the Jordan River. And Christian tradition argues it's over there, just a 5-6 hours walk away from here. Also, where was John the Baptist beheaded? In Machaeros. That's also just across the lake. Okay, so even the geographical setting fits the biography of John the Baptist.
Now, Danny, you mentioned the baptism site where John the Baptist baptized many, obviously baptized Jesus, and we're going there now, right?
Yes, the Christian tradition argues that the baptism site is very close to where the Jordan River ends, pouring into the Dead Sea. To this day, you can see busloads of pilgrims going in white gowns into the water, and it's possibly the original location, which is just a walking distance from here, connecting again John the Baptist to the site.
Yeah, where the Bible says Jesus was baptized and that dove descended upon him. Let's do it, Danny, come on.
Let's find that dove.